In lesson 24, we're looking at fractional equations and overlapping triangles. In our first example, we have a fractional equation, and what we're going to do first is make everything an improper fraction that's a mixed number. So I'm going to take the 2, multiply it to the 4, and add the 1. So it's going to be 8, 9. So it's going to be 9 over 2x minus 3/5, because that's just a proper fraction. And then I'm going to say 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so it's a negative 5 over 4. Okay, now what we're going to do is look and see what our common denominator is, or at least common multiple, between 2, 5, and 4. And I think it's 20. Now, if you go with a bigger number, like if you would have said, oh, let's just multiply them all together and gotten 40, this method would still work. You'd just have larger numbers to work with. So I'm multiplying everything by 20. So I can cancel or reduce this so that that's just a 10, so it's going to be 90x, and then here I can say that would be a 4, because 20 divided by 5 is 4, so negative 3 times 4 is a negative 12, and then here I can reduce 20 divided by 4 is 5, so negative 5 times 5 is a negative 25, and now this is a much simpler equation to solve. I'm going to take and add the 12 to move it to the other side, so that's a negative 13. And then I just need to divide both sides by 90. So x equals negative 13 over 90. And that's the answer for our first example. So the second example is another equation with fractions, but this time we've got a binomial in the numerator over the 5. But we're still going to use that same process of finding out what our common denominator is. And let's see, we have a 5, a 2, and a 3. We could say 30 would work. So we'll multiply everything by 30. Okay, and it's important to reduce first, because that just makes it easier. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then what I'm going to do is distribute or multiply that 6 across to both the 4x and the 2. So I'm going to have 24x plus 12. Then I'll reduce here. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So 15 times a negative 3 is a negative 45. And then 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that's going to just be a 10. I'm going to go ahead and put the 12 and negative 45 together. So that's going to give me 33. It's going to be negative because the 45 is bigger than 12. 24x minus 33 equals 10. I'm going to add the 33 to move it to the other side. So 43 equals 24x. Then I'll just divide both sides by 24. So x equals 43 over 24, and that is our answer. Alright, our last example for the fractional equations is another one that has a binomial in the numerator, but we're still going to use that same process. We're going to find our common denominator. In this case, between 2 and 7, it's 14. So I'm going to multiply everything by 14. Now, I'm going to reduce first. So this is going to be just 7. So 7 times 3x is 21x. And then here 14 divided by 7 is 2. So I'm going to take that 2 across to the 8 and that negative 4x, so it's going to be positive 16 minus 8x equals, and then I'll just multiply the 3 times the 14, which will give me 42. I'll get my like terms together on this side, so 21 minus 8, that's going to be 13x plus 16 equals 42. Subtract the 16 on both sides. So 13x equals, let's see here, 26. And I'll divide both sides by 13. So x equals 2. Alright, now we have the only example that is of the overlapping triangles. I think it's beneficial to write these triangles separately. Let's see, we're missing some information here. We're missing 6, 4, 7, that's a 9, and this is my y, and there's my x. Alright, now we can get started. So what I'm going to do is write them as separate triangles, or draw them as separate triangles, just to make it easier to see how we need to set up our ratios and proportions. So this is the small triangle here, A, B, and C. And then this is going to be my big triangle. So here I'll have to add that 6 and 4 together, and that's 10. And then this is 7 plus x, because I don't know what x is yet. And the bottom is just y. So first I'll set up my ratios for the y. And you could do x first, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say 10 over 4, because they are between the same angles. 10 over 4 equals y over 9. So I kept my big triangles on top and the little triangles on bottom, and then I just need to multiply both sides by 9. So we have 90 divided by 4 equals y, and I know this can reduce, that would be 45 over 2 equals y. Alright, so I know what my y is. Now I still need to find what the x value is. So I'm going to say 7 plus x over 7 is equal to 10 over 4. So what I'm going to do is say, what is my common denominator, like we were before, and that will get rid of my fractions. So my common denominator here is 28. And I can reduce here. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And I'll multiply the 7 to the 10, and that's 70. And then this would reduce. 28 divided by 7 is 4, and then I'll multiply the 4 to the x and to the 7. So I'll have 28 plus 4x. Now I'll subtract 28 on both sides. And then you just divide by 4. So the 4's will cancel, and then this reduces to be 21 over 2 equals x. So So I found missing x and y values. Y was 45 over 2 and x is 21 over 2.